Howdy. Welcome to England. There has been rather interesting earthquake activity in England. Unconfirmed near Gloucester, England, United Kingdom. 7 hours ago, 3.6, 5 user reports 10 kilometers in depth, which probably doesn't tell us anything about the real depth of that. This was yesterday, southeast of Chelmsford, Essex. 2.6, 334 user reports. And also London. And unconfirmed once again, 21 hours ago, near Crawley. 4 user reports. And the third unconfirmed quake. Yeah, nothing ever happens, uniformitarism, everything happens really gradually, nothing really ever happens, so there is no quakes in England, They're just not supposed to be. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I have to admit I'm a little bit upset about some things. So I try to channel my anger into making something interesting, maybe. Transmutation of the element stress. Anger is stress. The River Thames, which goes through London. The quake happened in the River Thames. Yes, also the River Thames is a wide river. But more about that later on. Because I found something interesting. For me it's interesting. I don't know if you think it's interesting, but that's up to you. So now we have these 2 quakes here. One here, one here. And if we make somewhat a straight line and take approximately the half of it, we are ending up here at this green patch, which is called a Hyde Park, which seems to have some water bodies. This might be actually an old part, continues here, of the Thames River. And there is this... No, it doesn't say. There's a round pond. Yeah, it's not actually round, but it's called round pond. And I found this here. St. Govor's Well. And this is something I found about that. Wiki Commons, whatever that is. It's just a picture mainly. There isn't really any knowledge about this. This drinking blah spring, which is the first to land over. Maybe I have to search for something better than this. Yeah, here's some more information about this. St. Govor's Well, Kensington Gardens, Westminster, London, UK. Holy wells. Did I ever talk about that? Water sources are protected by churches, like holy places, holy wells, holy water stuff. Yes, I did, many times. Long description. St. Govor's Holy Well in Kensington Gardens is named for St. Govor's 6th century religious hermit whose church in Landover had 8 separate holy wells in its grounds. St. Govor's Well, Kensington Gardens. The inscription written around the well states, "This drinking fountain marks the site of an ancient spring, which in 1856 was named St. Govor's Well by the first Commissioner of Works, later to become Lord Landover." St. Govor, a 6th century hermit, was the patron saint of a church in Landover, which had 8 wells in its church land. This well is mentioned in a story by J.M. Barrie, the author of Peter Pan. A picture of the old well can be found in the Chelsea and Kensington archives. This old well, still operational as a water fountain to slake the first Kensington garden visitors, was covered in the 1970s by a handsome stone sculpture that inscribed as follows. Yes. Holy Spring. In the middle of London. This might be just one of them all. Because there is no city without drinking water. No castle without drinking water. No church without drinking water. So water is very important. But now back to the Quakes. Or better, to the rivers. Because this is still this volcanic application. We have quakes down here and the quake up here. And I was putting them to Google Maps. And so here are the quakes from London. And somewhere here, I think that's the other quake. I'm not too sure about that. Yeah, saved in England volcanoes. Yeah, I made a list. I have this little, whatever it's called, chaptering thing. So the pictures don't really work, obviously. No, they don't. So, it turned out that this river, or there is also a water body near here. All things wild. Might be just a commercial because there's all farmland, there's no wild animals wherever. I think it's this one. No, that's a railroad. There was a river here which discharges. Yeah, here I think it is. Avon. River Avon. Because I looked up the quake location and there was some water bodies and they all discharged into the river Avon. And I just tried to figure out that where is the river Thames originating from and where is the river Avon originating from. And it turned out that they are very close to each other. I think these are the sources of those two rivers. Source of river Avon. Avon, or however you spell that in England. Yeah, the pictures don't work. Which really sucks. What happens? Chippenham. No, we don't want to know about Chippenham anything. But I think that's the source. Source of the river Thames. And remember when I said in the beginning that the Thames is a wide river as well. Now, do they work? Finally they work. So now let's just have a look. This is where the river Thames originates. It's not really clear what the exact place is. This might be another spot where it is emerging. Source to sea, Woolwich, London, Thames Path, public footpath. That's the well, the source. Now it obviously has a little bit more water, but that's the original place from where the Thames originates. Here you can see it in action. It's bubbling out of the ground. And that's a very, very cool picture. Thank you, Jack Bishop. who took it 2 weeks ago. Thames Head, the source of the River Thames, is a group of seasonal springs that arise near the village of Quakes in the Cotswolds, about 3 miles southwest of the town of Chester, in the county of Gloucester, England. The spring water comes from the Limestone Aquifers. Limestone is very calcareous, so it's white. It's a white river. You know? One or more of these springs are traditionally identified as the source of the River Thames. In actuality, the source of the River Thames does not have a fixed location. Rather, it changes according to the level of groundwater in the limestone. In dry periods, the groundwater level falls, causing the Thames Head to spring to dry up. The Thames Head springs to dry up and the river to begin lower down its source. In wet conditions, the groundwater rises and the river can begin at one of the Thames Head springs. During the 2022 United Kingdom heat wave, the source dried up completely, shifting 5 miles downstream to Somerford Keynes. Yeah, that's once again the same picture. Now we have to zoom in more. A stone-lined spring head in Shrewsbury Mead, with a marker stone about it taken in 2007. Dry at the time of taking the pictures. Or the picture. The Thames would otherwise flow towards the photographer. 2007. Thames Head in flood, March 22. 2020. Forgive me about the numbers. I hate numbers. So it's flooding already at the source. Limestone, aquifers, white rivers, hydrogen anion, which is charged negatively. But now let's have just a quick look at the other river as well. About this, I couldn't really find yet too much information, but anyway. The River Avon is a river in the southwest of England. To distinguish from a number of other rivers with the same name, it is often called Bristol Avon. The name Avons is a cognate of the Welsh word Avon, meaning river. And there's a gorge, the Avon Gorge. Yeah, somehow you wouldn't expect gorges in England, in a way, but obviously there are. And when we zoom out a little bit, here on Google Maps, I think it is, you will notice that these two sources of those two rivers are rather close. I don't know how to measure stuff here on Google Maps. Is it possible? But they are not too far away. They originate in somewhat a similar region. And here up, a little bit more north, all these markings are markings I made about English volcanoes. Yeah. This Morley Quarry. Does the pictures work? Yeah, check this out. This is not just some random water, otherwise it wouldn't have this color. Very interesting rocks here in the background. Yeah, dogs and dogs. Check out the layering. Petrified limestone. Yeah, but there are too many dogs here. Now let's just pick Another one. Beacon Hill Country Park. There might have been a well once at this very exact place where we have this thing now here. And somehow to me this looks all like petrified clay or vitrified, transmutated. Rather interesting. It could be also a mix of limestone and clay. And I just wanted to show you that there are like very interesting places, even in England. Yeah. I haven't been to England ever. But I think I'll leave it here. The Thames is a wide river as well. Literally. Many unconfirmed quakes in England because probably they just shouldn't be there. Whatever is the case, unconfirmed is always very interesting. Thanks. Bye.